Oi Brasil, olha eu aqui de novo com mais uma entrevista maravilhosa para vocês. E dessa vez, a nossa entrevista é real, mas real em outro sentido. Real de realeza. Vamos falar com a coroa. The Crown está chegando ao fim e dessa vez a gente vai acompanhar a saga não só da rainha, mas também da princesa Diana, de Harry, William e Kate. Além do príncipe Charles, que agora está já oficialmente casado com sua amante Camila. Ai, que bafão! Acho que nem as melhores novelas poderiam contar uma história melhor do que a história dessa família, né, gente? Pois é, então para saber um pouco mais dessa temporada, eu vou conversar com os intérpretes de Harry, William e Kate, Meg Bellamy, McVey e Ford. Pois é, vamos saber um pouco mais sobre essa segunda parte da última temporada de The Crown. Dá uma olhada.
The boys need you now more than ever.
I'm afraid we don't do fathers and sons very well in this family.
Perhaps you don't like to be reminded how we got to this point.
The Crown doesn't ask existential questions of itself.
Perhaps it should.
So, I'm super excited to talk to you about The Crown and this new generation of characters. And I would like to know, how does it feel to play characters that are alive and that probably are gonna see your version of them? How does it feel? How do you guys feel doing this?
Yeah, I think that adds a level of responsibility, I suppose. But I think that also gives a lovely bit of ammo in terms of you're really gonna get stuck into your research and your prep and just really gives you energy to really do your job as an actor well. But I think you can't think about it too much because it can cloud your judgment and it can be quite debilitating. So I think and also you're not doing some sort of impression or doing like a documentary remaking of their life. So you have a character and you have lines to learn and you just unpack and think about who this person is on the page and don't necessarily think too much about the outside world.
So how do you prepare for a character like this? You just do your own version of them. You didn't watch any documentaries, interviews, read Harry's book, for example.
Yeah, I mean, do you want to go?
No, I was just, probably saying the same, but there's a research team involved and they send you lots of stuff as well. But watch loads of documentaries. I think that for me was the most useful thing I could do because you're not only learning about her, but you're watching her and hearing her. So it's kind of like a triple killing three birds with one stone thing. So that was really useful to me. So you definitely do, incorporate your own research as well as creative license.
Yeah, but the research team have a huge reach in terms of they send us books, documentaries, articles, documents, and then you have vocal coach, a movement coach.
Whoa.
So there's lots of people involved and helping you. So it feels
Feel well equipped.
That's super cool.
Yeah.
And Elizabeth Debicki is super into character playing Diana. Did you guys have a chance to interact with her? How was it?
With Elizabeth?
Yeah.
Yes, well, sadly, we joined the show as she sort of leaves, so we didn't get to act with her on set, which is a shame. But she's a gorgeous and beautiful person. And
amazing.
We've interacted with her. She's incredible. Yeah, such a warm person.
She's so good.
Yeah, and an incredible actor.
And you guys keep up with the royals in life?
Less so now for me. I don't know. I think there's an element of putting the character to bed a little bit. And also, I was so engrossed in Kate for so long. So it's kind of nice to not feel, because I still go into slight work mode, I guess. When I see her, I'll be analyzing her mannerisms and it can sometimes be even stressful because I'm thinking oh, did I do that in the show? That's something she does. And maybe I missed that. So I think I don't necessarily keep up with her now, but you see from time to time just because they are everywhere.
Ed and Luther, in episode 7, not giving that much away, we know how close, but also how incredibly strained William and Harry's relationship is. So, what was it like to dive into the animosity? How much of the dynamic of the heir and spare are we going to see?
I'd say a fair amount. I think. I think what was what was quite exciting between us was like just first and foremost exploring what it is like to have a brother, and everything that comes with that. Just on the perspective that anyone can relate to in terms of like feeling jealous of your brother or like competitive, but also like you love them because they're brother. But then when you put that under the magnifying glass of like being in the royal family, it kind of shifts and changes that dynamic.
Yeah.
So that was interesting.
And after playing these characters, I wonder, do you guys think is it good to be a royal, or is it like just like a trap?
Good to be.
I think it's hard.
Yeah. Yeah, you just spend a lot of time, like say, researching them and empathizing with their cause, especially at that period of time that Peter's written for. But yeah, it's there's ups and downs, I'm sure, but like I think it's also a common misconception that because you're actors in the show that we have like a direct line to them and like we know everything about them, and we really don't. It doesn't extend that far. So I don't really know. I don't know the ins and outs of the institution.
And is there a particular moment in Kate and Will's romance that you're most excited to film?
I mean, like again, like I think Peter wrote it really nuanced and beautifully and light and subtle, and I think that what was interesting for me in episode 7 is that, and what we discussed on set is wanting, because obviously you know they get together in the end, so for them to put as many sort of barriers in the way of their relationship, so it's not just this perfect arc of them sort of getting together, and really wanting for the end of episode 7 for the audience to be like, I have no idea how they could possibly get together after this episode, which was really fun. That was really fun to play and just like crunch up that narrative a bit.
Yeah, definitely. I think it would be easy and maybe less interesting if it was just like they meet and they
get together,
are happy, and then they stay together. So I was kind of more excited to play the tension and maybe the friction, or just the times where it's not all like daisies and roses,
Mm-hmm. And your characters, especially Harry, has a lot of layers because he has a up and down life. So how was it to you to get into this, and how was your interpretation of Harry's life? How do you see his life, and how do you play that role?
I feel like if I was to take into account his whole life, like it would be way too overwhelming from like in terms of when you're kind of like first trying to get your head around playing someone. I felt like we had to, because even just like acting in The Crown is quite overwhelming generally, like like there's a lot going
I can imagine, especially the final season.
Yeah. So I think we were encouraged to just think about the timeline within the show, and obviously you look at what's come before and you surround yourself with things, but I think at some point you kind of have to let go of research and of kind of, because at some point you have to start imagining a side of them that no one knows, because it is all about what's happening behind closed doors, but that is fiction, because we don't know.
Thank you so much, guys, for your time. Hope you have a lovely day.
Thank you.
It's a pleasure talking to you. And you guys look amazing. Gente, é o fim de uma era. Tá chegando o fim. Adeus, The Crown. Vocês estão prontos para ficarem órfãos da realeza? Eu não estou. O bom é que a realeza real vai continuar dando bafões pra gente acompanhar. mas é gostoso assistir a dramaturgia, a ficção, feita em base nessa família maravilhosa, né? Pois é, The Crown tá chegando ao fim, chega na sua Netflix a segunda parte, os episódios finais, no dia 14 de dezembro. Então, ó, já aproveita, prepara o seu lencinho para dizer tchau para uma das nossas séries mais favoritas, mais queridas e mais amadas. Então é isso, beijo pra vocês. Se tá vendo no YouTube, não esqueça de se inscrever, comentar e compartilhar. E se você tá vendo no Instagram, não deixe de comentar e compartilhar também. Beijo pra vocês e até a próxima!
Perhaps now is the time.
This is what we expect to be the longest-serving monarch in history. People will want to celebrate your reign and mark the end of an era.
But what about the life I put aside? The woman I put aside when I became queen? I will always be by your side.
When fate summons, even monarchs must obey.
Won't stop till